With that being said, we'll get started with our first coach, Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing good, Coach. As always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus UAB.
Yeah, we went up to UAB, played a very good Conference USA team. They very well coached, got a good program, been to the playoffs, been to bowl games, 3 out of 4 years and won 2 of them. Got a great defense, been ranked in the top 20 last 4 years, number 5 last year. So we knew what we had. We knew what we was up against, and we wanted to try to stay competitive as long as we could. And that didn't last very long, and we wanted to get out of there healthy. We did do that. So we went up. They played well, and we didn't play so well. And the score showed that. So it was 59-0.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll now open for questions for Coach Maynor. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Coach Maynor, this is Dr. Bill inside the HBCU Sports Lab. You talked about playing up FBS teams. In terms of your team, did you see some individuals that were able to do some things that you like that you can transfer over to some coaching for this week?
Yeah, I thought Zarion Hayes played good on defense. I thought Terry played good on defense. We had Elijah hit an interception off of a tip, made a great dive and catch on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, Brian Jenkins led us in receiving. The offensive line didn't play very well when they would run the ball. Of course, running backs didn't play good because they didn't have any blocking, and the quarterbacks didn't execute at a level that we were looking for. So not a lot of bright spots, but we did learn a little bit about our team. So we'll move on and get ready for Troy.
Moving on, getting ready for Troy, another FBS opponent, this one out of the Sun Belt. When you talk about going from week 1 to week 2, I'm sure there's some things that you want to see that should be an improvement. What are some of those things that you're looking for your team as they get into this match?
Number one, taking care of the ball. We turned it over 4 times last week, and they made a couple good plays, and then we made a couple bonehead plays. So we got to take care of the ball. Anytime you want to have a chance to win, you got to take care of the ball. And when you're playing up, you definitely have to take care of the football. So when you take care of the ball, and we got to be more consistent on offense, defense. We got to limit the big plays, and we got to tackle better.
Thank you, Coach Maynor. Good luck this week.
You're welcome, Doc. See you, man.
All right.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Hey, Coach. You started Quincy Casey in the game on this past week, and Langford got some time there late. Is that going to be the rotation going into Troy, having Casey start and then going to Langford, or how would that work out for you?
We might switch that rotation. Both of them guys will probably still play. We may go Langford first. We'll see how they practice this week, but we plan on playing both guys again.
Okay. And follow-up question is, you played Troy and then follow that up by playing Austin Peay. What do you hope to learn about your team in these first 3 weeks playing against some kind of high-level competition?
Everything, our weaknesses, our strengths, what we do well, what we don't do well, what we need to work on, what we don't need to work on. And, the facts, HBCUs, we got to play Monday games because we got to take care of our programs. And, when you talk about football, basketball, they support other non-revenue sports. So at the end of the day, we have to play these games to help generate money.
All right, thanks.
Currently taking questions for Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Coach, obviously you spoke earlier about the improvements that you would like to see defensively. Can you just kind of maybe take a little bit of deeper dive as far as what areas you're hoping to see your team make some strides in over the next few weeks?
All areas. Run defense, pass defense, not giving up the big plays. Like I said, we did have an interception. We had a couple of tackles for losses. We need more of those. We got to be more consistent in getting off blocks, getting in the backfield, playing on their side of the ball, causing havoc, getting in the quarterback face, getting in there, get some pressure on them, make them get the ball out a little faster. It's tough to do when you play up, but those are the things that we need to do. We need to work on to become a great defense and a better defense. So, and then of course tackling. First game of the season, when you don't get hit a lot going into it, you normally have some missed tackles, and that's part of the game. Everybody's human. You're not gonna make all your tackles, but we got to shore up that tackle.
Taking questions for Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Any final questions for Coach? All right, we have a question from Kyle Mosley.
Hey, Coach, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good morning. All right, what's your game plan for Troy, and how will you guys be able to change up some of the things on offense?
We're not going to change up too much. We're going to try to do what we do. You know, we just got to execute a little bit better. Try to put the guys in a little bit better situation. But at the end of the day, it comes down to execution and making the plays. And we didn't do a very good job of that last Thursday night, and we got to do a better job. We had some drop balls. We had some guys lined up wrong. We had some missed assignments on the offensive line. So we just got to clean it up. We moved the ball. We got some first downs, but we just weren't consistent enough to sustain the drive and get the ball in the end zone. So we just got to be a little bit more consistent, play one play at a time, and finish plays.
All right. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
Still taking questions for Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking with you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Next, we'll be joined by Coach Robinson with Alabama State. We are a few minutes ahead of schedule, so we will give our media like to log on for his availability just a few more minutes to get on with us. We'll be back momentarily. Thanks for your patience. All right, once again, for our media that have just recently joined us on the call, if you do have any questions for our coaches, we ask that you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for the coach. Please do not ask your question until you are called upon. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Doing great, Coach. As always, thank you so much for taking some time out your schedule to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out by giving us a recap of your team's most recent outing, a win versus Miles College there at home.
Yeah, we played Miles College at home, Labor Day Classic. So, always a lot of people on campus. Started off really well. Starting quarterback, Demetrius Davis, got a little banged up. So we had to pull him early on the first drive. But Miles Crawley, he stepped in and played well. Hickson threw a receiver screen early on, and then he caught a touchdown. Score was up 21-3, so things were moving pretty well. And unfortunately, we had some penalties, had some fumbles, a lot of turnovers, stuff like that. So defense played well, played a lot of snaps, way more than we would have liked them to. But overall, the team did play well, responded back. Miles made a late run. So Coach Sam Shade had them coached up really well. They played hard the entire game. So we got stuck on 21. So we were able to win the game, but it was way closer than we thought it would be. But credit to those guys. They played hard the whole time. They never gave up. And so for us, it's just a matter of us working on those penalties and correcting those small mistakes. So team's still in progress. I think we can be a really good team, but we're not there yet. So just trying to get better each week.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We're now going to open up the floor for questions. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Cavill with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
The hashtag Swarm has one era, has gotten off to a great start in terms of getting victories. What have you seen that has been successful for your team thus far, and what are some of the things that you want to work on?
Well, for us, I think we have to run the football. I think Ja'Cory Merritt, he's been the guy that he's been waiting behind Ezra Gray for the last couple of years. Real talented running back, local kid from Lanier High School. So I think he's going to be the guy that really has to get us going. And he's been, as advertised early, can catch the ball at the backfield, runs hard. Defensively, we still have to work on creating more turnovers. That was one of the problems we had last year. Just didn't get enough takeaways. And so those are two things that we need to continue to improve on. But so far, like you said, we've gotten the W's, but I think everybody knows in here that we have to play much better football to compete in the conference.
I want to get to the next game with UCLA. Long flight, but it's a chance to get in the West Coast. A lot of talent out there. How do you take advantage of being in an area where you can recruit maybe, but also dealing with the idea of playing up to a P5 team at that?
Yeah, I mean, Story program. I mean, UCLA, great tradition, playing in the Rose Bowl. I think every kid has dreamed about playing in the Rose Bowl at one time. I know I have. So it's just be a great experience for us, the band, the fans. We do have a lot of alumni out there in California. So, we're looking at it optimistically. You go out there and compete. We have a lot of guys who have aspirations to play at the next level. A lot of guys who feel like they're Power 5 type players. So I think for those guys, they have to strap it up, and it's a good measuring stick. You want to know where you are against those bigger schools, but at the same time, you have to understand that the number of scholarships that they have are more than us. So you have to coach it and be smart about it. But I think you go out there and compete, and it's a great experience for the fans and for the players. So that's how I'm looking at it.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Hey, Coach. This is 2 games in now for you as a head coach at Alabama State. It's been a learning experience so far, I would imagine. So what have you kind of learned about the team and most importantly yourself through these first 2 games?
Yeah, I think the team, I mean, it's a high energy team. I mean, that first game, we had that long weather delay and everything. So it was just a matter of keeping their energy down. But I love the enthusiasm in the fight. We just have to kind of get that moving in the right direction. Control those silly penalties. Some of them are aggressive penalties that you can live with. Others are just unexcusable. And so that's what we're really focusing on. I think for me as a coach is just getting in tune with the OC and the DC, putting my input on, should we have a run? Should we have a pass? Slow it up, speed up the tempo, slow down the tempo, those type of things. So those are the type of things that we worked on in the spring, worked on in the fall. But I mean, until you're shooting real bullets, you don't really know what it's going to look like. So I think we're in a good rapport as far as us having that continuity. A couple mistakes I made in the first game as far as getting out the half and not having to punt and those type of deals. So I think every week you have to review everybody. We review the players, of course, but also you have to critique yourself as a coach. And so every weekend we're coming on Sunday and critiquing ourselves as a staff to make sure that we're getting better also.
All right, Coach, thanks.
Yep.
Currently taking questions for Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Coach, one young man that stood out on the box score from your game against Miles College was Gaddy. 10 total tackles. I think he had 3 tackles for loss and 2 sacks. Can you kind of talk a little bit about his performance, his effort?
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy transferred from Maryland a couple of years ago, and probably one of the guys I talked to when I first got here. I think he has next level potential. big, strong kid, athletic, can play really hard. So trying to keep his snap numbers down, right, where he can give us 100% for those plays that he's in. But had a great game. You know, he came to me at the end of the game, and sometimes you may see a guy make a play here or there, but you don't realize that he put in a really good body of work. So I mean, he had a really good day, and he's one of those guys. I think the strength of our defense are the tackles, and kind of led by him. So we're going to be a good defense. It's going to start with those guys up front in the middle. And so he's projecting to have a really good year, and really happy for him. This is his first year being a full-time starter, even though he was a regular rotation guy. So he's kind of taking that charge of taking this game to the next level.
Next question goes to Kyle Mosley.
Hey, Coach, Nola Strong, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
All right. You guys are doing pretty well, and I wanted to see, how would you rate your special teams effort thus far?
Yeah, I mean, other than the turnover that we had on that kickoff return, I feel like we've put a lot of effort into special teams. We've had some, special team only days in camp. And so we have a lot of starters of guys who are right at that level of quality backups on special teams. So to me, I want us to return kicks, and I want for touchdowns. I want us to block punts. I want us to be great at it. So from the standpoint of we're doing well, maybe above average, but from our expectation level of how good I expect us to be, I don't think we're there yet. We haven't returned a kick from a touchdown. We have some that have gotten out to the 40 or 50, but I think as we all know, special teams is crucial. We have a lot of emphasis on it, so I want us to get better each week. But doing well, but I want it to be at a high level. So we're not hitting on all cylinders, but we're working our butts off on it.
All right. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Any final questions for Coach? All right, we have a question from Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Robinson. Ty Miller, how you doing, man?
Doing good. How are you, Ty?
Hey, the G-Man told me to tell you hi from Las Vegas, and good luck for the season, all right?
Absolutely.
Hey, Eddie, Chip Kelly, he's known for going fast. He's known for speed. What do you know about his teams, and what are you preparing your team for in terms of the different speeds you're going to see this week as opposed to the first couple of games?
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. We practiced that today. So it's funny you said it. Our offense has a package like that where they go fast. They're trying to get, he's trying to get that ball snapped with at least, 30 seconds left on the play clock. And so that's what we prepared for today. And so I think you have to have those hand signals defensively so you can move fast, realizing that you can't sub until they sub. And so those are the things that we're working on. Good thing is our offense does have it in their game plan too. So we saw a little bit of it in the spring and the fall. But yeah, it's something that you have to prepare for and practice for and work your hand signals and your communication. The biggest thing is you don't want to give up a cheap touchdown just because you didn't get everybody on the same page.
What have you seen in their tape against Bowling Green this past week? Because they played a lot of players.
Yeah, they did play a lot of players. And I think the quarterback is the guy that you have to focus on. I've actually watched him the last couple of years, had a good friend of mine whose son actually played for UCLA. So it was one of those things that I was familiar with him as a player. And I think, he's a dual threat guy. He's the one that you really have to contain. He had some really big plays in the run game last week. So you have to always have eyes on him. If you lose track of him, he can't hurt you throwing the ball as well as running.
And finally, your style of play was a lot of analytics in terms of how you broke down defenses as a linebacker. Have you brought that same style to your defense in terms of how your guys study tape?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to get to. It's one thing for the coaches to know it, and they're in my headset, and they're saying, "Hey, they're gonna run this," and that's great. But if the kid doesn't know it, then it doesn't matter. So, and that's one of the things that we're really trying to work on to teach those guys how to watch film. It's a little bit early. For Miles College, and quite frankly, we had no film on them, so it was a whole new coaching staff, and so it was just we kind of went into it blind. But as we get into the season, especially the conference games, same coordinators from year to year, you have 3 or 4 games. That's when you can really hone in. We have some smart guys on defense. Urshad, he's one of them. Culpepper, Bubba, our middle linebacker. So I think we have some guys who can really pick up on trends, and hopefully that can equate to some big plays.
Hey, good luck this weekend against UCLA.
Appreciate it.
Last question goes to Luke Williams. You're on mute there, Luke.
I'm sorry. Coach Robinson, congratulations on the win. Did you think it would be this easy to be 2-0 early in your career?
One thing I tell the kids, you never apologize for winning, but it definitely is never easy. And so I think that's what I realized, and the kids realized that too. I mean, that Howard game was definitely touchdown, extra point away. It's a different game. Same with this one. I mean, we were on the field. We felt like we were in control of the game, but you're up by 8 and they have the ball, so anything could happen. We could have very well went to overtime. So I think the kids are realizing that, coaches realizing it. I tell them all the time, my job is to get us to where we win by at least 1 point. And that's the key, is to try to win, but you have to coach them all the way to the end. So I think these games, although we didn't perform like we wanted to, and there was some struggles, I kind of like that, because hopefully we can learn from it and realize, as the conference comes into play in UCLA, it's hard to get a win, and you got to appreciate every one.
So when I'm concerned or asking about, Coach, is 2 games in, what have you experienced? Are you getting a familiar feeling about being back on the sidelines and competing, that kind of thing? Has it been surprising for you so far? What's been the takeaway that you've had so early in your head coaching career?
Well, I think the biggest thing is we just have a whole new staff. So we have a lot of guys, some guys who were together previously, but we're just trying to all work with each other, realizing the personalities of the coaching staff, who's the calm guy, who's the irrational guy, who's the panic guy. So just like you're learning the players, you're learning the coaches who can give you the input, which guy is real good at giving that in-game analysis of what's about to happen. So that's what we're really putting together. We did a lot of it in the spring and the fall, but now that it's live action, you get a lot more out of it, a lot more feedback. And it's those pressure situations. That's how you can kind of tell. Everybody's going to react different when the pressure's on.
Good luck, Coach. Good luck out west.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
Coach Robinson, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you next week.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. We now go to Alcorn State head coach Brett McNair. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing there against SFA.
Great ball game. I thought the guys really played hard, played physical against a good Stephen F. Austin ball club that was well coached. Very different, one of the top teams, top 10 teams in the FCS. So the guys really fought, they really strained themselves. I think the opening drive, we takes it and go 99 and for a touchdown. The guys played well up front. Defensively, the guys played fast. Very physical ball game. I thought the guys really played hard. Gave us some big plays in the secondary, and we didn't make enough big plays on offense, explosive plays. I think from that standpoint, we had several opportunities to put the game away, but we let them kind of linger along there. And they came out with an edge, 31-27 victory over us. But overall, very pleased where the guys are right now in terms of playing a physical ball club and for the first ball game of 2022 season. Very impressed with what we're doing offensively and defensively, special team wise. We still got some work to do. That's our good mindset right now for this next week coming up against a very good coach Tulane ball club as we travel to New Orleans. But I think the guys up to the task. They're gonna work hard this week, and they come out and play another physical game as they did, especially against the FBS team this week. So it'll be great for us.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll now open up for questions for Coach McNair. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Coach McNair, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your scheduling philosophy. And you've had the ability to play some of these regional, what I refer to as historically white college universities, and play them home and away, certainly get them on campus. Is that purposeful for scheduling some regional matchups with teams outside of the conference versus just so many FBS programs?
Oh yeah, I mean you get some home and home game against some of the top teams in the FCS. You're doing pretty good, I think. Just playing those guys and giving you a chance there to, geographic wise, it makes a whole lot of sense in travel in terms of where we go and things of that nature. We got Tulane and got McNair State coming up on the third week. So it makes a whole lot of sense to get those kind of teams in and kind of be competitive and see where you're at, getting ready for the SWAC play. So I think these teams will make us a whole lot better. Keep these guys healthy, and if that oblong football bounced the right way and make a few plays here and there, we can pull some of these out. So in terms of this past week, we had some plays that we should have made, had some throws we should have connected on, and we just maybe a shoestring tackle away from having another big run. I thought we rushed the ball very well against Stephen F. Austin. Right at 290-yard rushing. The running backs played well. Nico Duffin, Javon Howard played extremely good ball game in the backfield for us. The offensive line did a great job of creating lanes and protecting the quarterback. We didn't have any sacks this week, but I think overall the defense they played had sacks and had turnovers and played very well. So playing against a team like this, I'm excited about it. It makes us better as a team. Being able to coach against some of the top-notch coaches in the FCS and just playing the game the way it's supposed to be played. I mean, I think it's going to make this conference a whole lot better in terms of where we stand when we play these kind of teams and making us competitive. When you get that competitive edge playing top-notch team like this, you kind of win in a situation where you get a team in the Celebration Bowl and maybe a team in the playoffs. So I'm good with the schedule. I love it. I'm in favor of this schedule that we have with the first 3 games. I think these games are winnable. I thought with Stephen F. Austin coming in, we had a chance to win that ball game, which we did. We're playing against Tulane coming up this week. We got a chance. They was a well-coached football team. Gonna be very, very fast for us, and gonna be faster than the one we just got through playing. So, guys up to the challenge. It's all about the players and how they feel when they come out and play. Everybody gets up for big games. So this is one that we're gonna have to get up for. Going down to New Orleans.
Coach, you took it right out my mouth. I was going to ask about Nico Duffy in the run game, 285 yards and 37 carries. You covered that really, but I wanted know a little more about Aaron Allen, new signal caller. What were your thoughts in terms of his overall performance in the game, and where do you want to see him go?
I thought when he played the game this past weekend, he did an outstanding job of taking command of the offense and driving the ball down the field, making the throws that he needed to make. Just getting him comfortable in some of the stuff that he needed to be comfortable in. We had a couple big time throws that he should have made, which gonna come. That's why we play the game to correct those mistakes. But overall, Adam played a superb ball game for us. I thought had a chance right there, to come back and win it. At the end, ball hits one of the receivers, dead in the hands and got deflected for interception. So. But he made some big plays. He made some good throws. In terms of what he can do, he had 2 touchdown passes. But some of the things that we just got to work on through this week to get him better with his eyes and getting him more comfortable in the pocket, which I thought he was very comfortable. I thought he was very comfortable in the pocket. I think Coach Phillip is doing a great job of getting that room ready to play in terms of through the week in preparation.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Zach McKinnell.
How you doing, Coach? One of the big players on Stephen F. Austin, a lot of people were looking forward to seeing was Xavier Gibson, FCS All-American, and your secondary was able to pretty much completely shut him down. What was the game plan going in, and can you speak, to your secondary's performance this weekend against a player of the caliber of Gibson?
I thought they did well against Gibson, just coming in and with his game, the way he played it. We knew that was one of the players that we had to really contain. You can only slow those players down, but you really can't stop them. But I thought we did a great job of limiting him and the things that he could do with our offense. So we were pretty much pleased the way we played him throughout the whole ball game. And just I think some of the things that Stephen F. did was a little eye candy with him, put him in motion, fake and run screens away from him. So the things that we did, I think, we had a couple bad big plays in the backfield with other receivers, not Gibson. But I think, just being able to slow him down a little bit, I think kind of helped us out in terms of our defensive play. But we just can't look at just that one player and not look at the other receivers as well. But they got some great dynamic receivers in terms of when that comes around. So we have to look at the whole picture. Just can't take just one guy and just say, okay, we shut him down. We got to look at the whole picture of the offense. So we get that done. We take care of the guys' eyes and make sure in the right places and things of that nature. I think we'll be fine.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach McNair with Alcorn State. Any final questions for Coach? All right, last question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Coach, you said earlier that playing against opponents like Stephen F. Austin and the opponents you have coming up this week really can help you guys improve as a team and as a league. What statement do you think you guys made by not only playing Stephen F. Austin so close at home, but nearly almost winning that game against one of the best teams in the country?
I mean, it was a game that was very winnable. I mean, we make the plays that we should have made there. Missed opportunities that we had. Nico breaks out on a long run, and we get stopped and had to kick a field goal there about the 10-yard line. So we missed a pass in the end zone that was high to the receiver. We missed a wide open post route to C.J. Boulder that could have went in for a touchdown. So those kind of things that kind of see where you're at as a team, how competitive nature, if these guys compete at that level, it really caught my eye this past weekend, the way these guys came out and fought. So like I tell the guys, if you got the mindset to play, it's all about mental preparations when you're playing teams like this. And I think we did a great job as a coaching staff in preparing these guys for that task against Stephen F. Austin. So the biggest thing is just got to bounce back and try not to let one loss turn into two. Just stay competitive and just play our game. It's all about Alcorn State football. We watch film of our opponent, but most of the things is what we do. And things that we didn't do on Saturday was capitalize on the plays that we had to finish the ball game. We didn't finish.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you next week.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next, we go to Coach Simmons at Bethune-Cookman. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time out your schedule to join us. If you would, please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Miami.
Well, honestly, I think we went down and Miami took us out to the woodshed. Didn't play well the whole game in all three phases. I think we had spots where we played well. Offensively, we had some explosive plays, had some guys step up and make some plays that we felt like could be difference makers for us. Thought we were solid in special teams, always room to get better there. And defensively, we just have to tackle better. We have to make sure we're in the right areas when we need to be there. So I think overall, not a terrible game, but definitely have a lot of work to do. And we're looking forward to this contest this weekend.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll now open up the floor for questions for Coach Sims. Once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature here on Zoom to get your question in the queue for Coach. Currently taking questions for Coach Sims. Coach, I know you talked a little bit about improvement, just across the board. Can you kind of assess where you feel like you were at in this most recent outing at the quarterback position?
I think our quarterbacks were solid. We didn't make all the right decisions, but I think, our starter, Jalen Jones, did a great job. He started out a little slow, but as the game went on, he got better and he made better decisions and he ran the offense. Tyrone Franklin, he came in and had a few positive plays. And then we had Walter Simmons, the transfer that came in I thought all three guys were solid. They did the things we were asking them to do. Did not play mistake-free football, but, game one, you're going to have some hiccups here and there. Just some things for us to come back and practice on this week.
Next question goes to Kyle Mosley.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
Good, good. Can you talk about your defense? And I know it was a tough outing against Miami, but who were some of your standout players?
Well, I think you have to start with your guys that have been here and played, and if they're continuing to play well. And Devontae Hampton's a guy that's always been a good player for us. I thought he had a solid game on Saturday. He did a lot of good things for us. We also had Gerald Pugh. He's a transfer that came in. They played a lot of snaps for us on Saturday at corner. He did a great job. Always, looking at the D-line. And I think, Conroy Cunningham and Mason Hall did a solid job at defensive ends for us. They're two guys that are new to those positions. Conroy was a linebacker last year, and we actually moved Mason outside from tackle. So with those guys, moving positions, they I thought played solid there. Just think we have to be more we have to show up more at the linebacker spot.
How about your run game? How do you want to improve that?
Well, I think, first and foremost, we just have to get a little more push with our offensive line. Again, we had 3 new guys that we had to insert there. So just getting them out there with the speed of the game. I thought playing Miami was great to increase our game speed for our team. We'll get more push. I think we have the backs to get that done. Just looking forward to this week when we get an opportunity to get back on the field and practice and get prepared for South Carolina State.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Bill inside HBC Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Sims. How's it going?
Good morning, Doc. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Wanted to ask a little bit about the film. Are you able to, from a coaching perspective, obviously, are you able to look at a film, even though it's a game between an FBS and FCS, and be able to take things away that you can utilize in this particular matchup that comes up next?
No question. Because, the players aren't going to change. And usually teams, they're not going to change their schemes totally from game to game. So I think it's a lot of things you can get, whether it be personnel or just their base offense, defense, or their special team scheme. So I think it's a lot that can be learned from a game, whether it's FCS, FBS, Division II, regardless of who they play. They have to be who they are.
Certainly. Follow-up question now goes to the matchup, but first wanted to talk about Coach Pugh. Had a chance to interview with him earlier, and he just talked about the matchup, the history of this matchup, previously being a conference game, now it's MEAC SWAC, pseudo challenge, if you would. But he just talked about some of the historical moments, how this game is always tough in the trenches, short distance, fans come, oftentimes the band. I believe their band is coming in this matchup. I know you don't necessarily take on all of that because you're worried about the football team, but can you share a little bit about the historical factor of this game being more than just a non-conference game?
Oh, it's been a great, matchup since I've been here, since 2010. And we had a little thing going a while back where, we would always win in Orangeburg and they would win when they came to Daytona. But they ended up breaking that streak last year and they won at home. So we're looking to do the same. But it's always been a great game. It's always been a physical game. I get in trouble all the time saying it in the media, but it's a brawl. It's a bloodbath. When you look out on the field, there are 2 really good football teams. I think 2 excellent coaching staffs that are matched up on that day. And it's going to be a great football game. Always has been, and we're looking forward to it on this Saturday.
Since you talked about physicality so much, last question I have here. Talk about from a defensive perspective, what things would you like to see your team or what needs to be done to help put you in a position to come out successfully in this matchup?
Well, I think we just have to be sure tacklers. We have guys that are in the right spot. They're where they're supposed to be. So I think it just, us shoring up our tackling, swarming to the ball like we know we can, and being the physical defense that we are. We have to have a physical presence from the start of this game. South Carolina State's not a team that you can fill out for a quarter or two and then try and get in the game. You have to come out from the beginning of the game being physical. And I think that's where it lies for us, just recognizing what's going on and being sure tacklers.
Thank you, Coach Sims. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Doc.
Coach Sims, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we go to Florida A&M head coach Willie Simmons. Once again, for all of our media that are on the call, if you do have a question for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature here via Zoom to get your question in the queue. All right, as we wait for Coach Simmons, we see him here in the waiting room now. We'll be joined with him momentarily. All right, I see we have Coach Simmons. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning.
Coach, as always, you had a busy weekend travel schedule, so we do appreciate you taking some time out your schedule to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement just about your most recent outing versus Jackson State.
Well, obviously, wasn't our best performance. Didn't play a good game in any phase. One, I took my hat to Jackson, Coach Prime, his job they've done there. He has a phenomenal football team. We knew that going into it. He showed, exactly why they're the preseason number one rated team and the top 25 FCS program. And to play against a team like that, you got to come in mentally ready to play. Don't think that we were mentally as sharp as we needed to be. Physically, we made some mistakes in some critical areas. And once the snowball effect hit, this kind of got worse as the game progressed. And so, obviously, whenever you take a beat down like that, you got to look inward. And as a head coach, as assistant coaches, support staff, as players, we have to do that. And we got a short week to do it with a tough Albany State team coming to Tallahassee. So, but in life, you gotta pick yourself up when you're down, and we have a resilient group of young men, and we'll do just that. And we got 4 days to fix it, but I feel confident that we'll get it done.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll now open up the floor for questions for Coach Simmons. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, good morning. Can you talk a little bit about your quarterback play? You have two gentlemen back there. Musa's had an opportunity, and also McKay has been with you a while. Just talk about both of those gentlemen and moving forward, your thought process.
Well, obviously Jeremy didn't play his best game. We had a phenomenal week the week before against UNC, but came back this week and just a little erratic on some throws. We got to continue to work with him on his intermediate throws. Sometimes he gets his front leg locked out and he gets his lead shoulder up and the ball tends to float on a little bit. So it's something we'll continue to work on doing individual, and we get that fixed. He's got great arm talent. Again, and we got to get him playing to the level that he's capable of. And Rashawn, Rashawn is still working his way back, and I feel confident that we have two guys that we can win with. Right now Jeremy's the starter, and he'll continue to be the starter until otherwise a decision is made by me. He's the guy that we feel gives us the best chance to win right now, and so we're gonna just continue to work both of them because they both got to be ready to play. It's hard to win games without two really good quarterbacks. We feel like we have two, and we'll build around the guys we have and figure out what we need to do schematically to put them in the best position to execute and move the offense.
Coach, everybody likes home cooking. You get an opportunity to come back to the highest of Seven Hills and play a football game. Talk a little bit about what you envision this weekend.
Well, one of our goals that we set for ourselves this year is to go undefeated at home. And so obviously this is the first opportunity to do that. It will feel good to be back in the confines of Brad Memorial Stadium. We look forward to a great crowd. We know Albany State is going to travel well. And so again, hopefully that game day atmosphere, that home field advantage will give these guys the lift they need to pick them up from, two early season losses. And so we gotta bounce back. We gotta recover. And the best student section in America, right there cheering us on with the best fans in the Margin 100, I think will be enough to get it done. So looking forward to being back at Bragg. Hoping this will be the start of a 9-game winning streak for us.
Coach, currently, how many players do you have back? I know Mr. Land is back. Just talk about what you have back and the thought process on getting your full complement of all your student athletes.
Well, as of last Friday or Saturday, all but 8 guys had been certified. And so we still have about 8 that we have to work through some things with this week. And I feel confident that we'll get those things done. And, again, we're trying not to make that the focus. I think a lot of that had to do with why the players mentally just aren't in the best headspace. It's just been too much uncertainty, too many emotional roller coasters with everything that's going on. But, we're not going to make excuses for it. We're going to continue to push forward with the guys that we do have. And hopefully that number will be complete, in the next few days. So just got to keep going, got to keep pushing, and got to work hard every day to get better. And that's what this team and coaching staff is committed to doing.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Thank you, James.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Dr. Cavill is inside the HBC Sports Lab. Coach Simmons.
Hey, Doc, how you doing?
Going? I'm good. Wanted to ask you a little bit more about the emotional state of the team. It's been 2 emotional, strong weekends. I know as a professional head coach, you've seen a lot of this, done a lot of it, maybe not exactly this, but different emotional things. So yourself, I'm sure you'll figure a way through it. But not only your players, but your other assistant coaches. What kind of things do you do to move them past the emotional space that they're in? Is that an individual type of thing, or is that a collective approach that you look at, or some combination of both?
I think it's definitely a combination of both. I think individually, we all have to figure out what our triggers are, and what things we need to do as adults to make sure that we're in a great headspace. I do that myself. I mean, I'm in therapy, and I'm not ashamed to say it. There's nothing wrong. My therapist was assured me of that in our first session, that I don't have anything wrong with me. But again, it's good to get maintenance, right? As a quarterback, every day after practice, I would ice my arm. My arm wasn't hurting; it was to keep it from hurting, right? And it's the same thing, when it comes to therapy. So just trying to make sure that I have a release. I'm a person that works and works and works. I don't really have a hobby, right? I don't golf, I don't fish, I don't hunt, I don't hang out, go to clubs and go to bars. I don't do any of that stuff. I work the long hours and I go home late at night, and try to spend the little bit of time I have left, with my family. So I don't really have a release. So this is a way for me to kind of release some things, unload some things. And I think it's healthy that we all figure out what that thing is. If it's golf, hey, I gave the guys a little bit of time out this morning. Hey, some of them maybe go hit the front 9. If it's fishing, maybe some of them got all in the water this morning and tried to see how many they can catch, But whatever it is, we got to make sure that we're taking that self-care. And then collectively, we'll meet here this afternoon and we'll talk through some things to figure out where everybody's headspace is. A lot of times during the season, we're just going and going and going. And, we don't really think, okay, let me do an assessment of where everybody is. And this is a day to do that. After you take a loss like that, this is a time to step back. Let's put football aside for a second and let's talk about life. Same thing we try to do with our young men. Let's just do a wellness check on everybody in the room and see if there's something that needs to be done, because maybe someone does need something, along the lines of counseling, whether it be grief or trauma, who knows what it is. And so it's really a big thing nowadays. I think it's something that gets oftentimes overlooked with adults and student athletes primarily. But as coaches and support staffs, I do have to make sure that they're in a good space too. But as a football team, we'll continue to try to keep the guys together, keep them in the right headspace so they're not turning to things to mask whatever they're feeling right now. That can be detrimental to their success. So that's where we are, and we'll continue to love up on everybody get us back to a good place where we can play good football and continue to do the things on and off the field that we're required to do.
Thank you for putting it out there. That's extremely important. I did want to say it's good to hear that you haven't called your grilling skills a hobby yet, because we got a little work on that, Coach, but we'll get you there.
Haven't had time to, but probably need to fire it up and play around with it a little bit.
No doubt. We'll work on that together. With that being said, seriousness, I want to get into this next game. You talked about the home field and really being able to lever that, but you're playing what in many people's facets is, or certainly what we call Dr. Bill's poll ranking mid-major program, Albany State, #1 program, went into the playoffs last year, playing really good football. They beat Mississippi College 28-14. Have you had a chance to look any film on them?
Well, I haven't had a chance to watch film of this year yet, just because obviously the focus was on Jackson State. But, I'm well aware of the job Coach Gardenia has done there at Albany State. We had an opportunity to scrimmage those guys during the COVID spring when we didn't play. And they came down here and they got after us pretty good. We didn't keep score. So, don't know who would have won the game, so to speak, but we knew that they came in and played extremely hard and sound and well coached. So we know that this won't be a pushover team. Again, they're the #1 team in Division II football and, conference champion. So they won't be intimidated by us. Obviously, they just saw us, get beat pretty bad. So their confidence will be high. They're a team that, again, is used to playing on the big stage. So we'll have to be ready to play. Like, we got to play our best football on Saturday to get a win. We desperately need a win. And, we got to prepare ourselves in a short week to take on a very, very tough Albany State team.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks for your time. Good luck this weekend.
No, thank you.
Next question goes to Luke Williams.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, Lou, how are you?
Hey, tough day yesterday. Coach, when you assess what happened, is Jackson State, I mean, most of us thought that if there was any team in HBCU football close to Jackson State, it was you guys. And when you talk about the difference in terms of what happened yesterday, have they raised the level in terms of their talent level across the board that's made them perhaps even maybe raise higher? And does that challenge you as well as everybody else in the SWAC and in FCS football, HBCU football, to really be focused on matching what Coach Sanders has been able to bring into Jackson State?
Well, they're really, really good. They have really good players across the board. They've recruited extremely well. They've capitalized on the transfer portal. They shored up some deficiencies that they had last year on the offensive side of the ball up front. And so it's hard to find a weakness, with that football team. Shador played as well as any quarterback I've seen play. When you go 29-33 or 5 touchdowns, I think that would probably be a perfect QB rating in the NFL. I mean, he played extremely good football. And whenever you have a quarterback playing at that level with the talent that he has around him, they're gonna be pretty hard to beat. Last year they didn't lose a game in conference, and it'd be hard pressed to see them losing one this year if they continue to play the way they played yesterday. So they're a really, really good team. Can't take anything away from him. The job he's done there is amazing. He's got NFL coaches on his staff who are in quality control roles. I mean, so he's changing the landscape of not only SWAC football, but FCS football. You have the coaching staff that he's been able to assemble and the talent that he's been able to acquire. It's going to make it really difficult to beat that football team, but obviously you still have to play the game, and for us yesterday, we didn't give ourselves a chance to beat them because we just played really, really poorly in all 3 phases. There's not one phase where we can say that we played solid enough to try to compete with those guys. And so, they're not the 85 Bears, but they're really good and can't take anything away from them. So again, huge shout out to Prime and what he's done with that program. And but it's a long season. We all got to play, and but we got to get better. I can't focus on Jackson. Now that ship has sailed. I got to figure out how to fix this team, and we have really good players too. So we'll get back to the drawing board and figure out how we can play the type of game that allows us to go out and put points up and keep people off the scoreboard.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to JT Keith.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Hey, JT.
Hey, you were. Can you talk about the difference with Shador Sanders this year than last year, and also their offensive line, and then maybe about Travis Hunter? Was he a factor?
Well, Shador, like I just said, I mean, he played phenomenal. He played really well last season. You know, it was a Jerry Rice Award winner, is the top FCS freshman in the country. He's a preseason SWAC Offensive Player of the Year. And he showed why he's a big-time quarterback. I mean, the kid was a four-star coming out of high school, so what he's doing is not surprising. He was in rhythm, you know, and them showing up the offensive line really, really helped him. You know, last year, you know, he took some shots and people were able to get to him at times, and he struggled a little bit. Other than Isaiah Land getting to him twice. One time he pulled up because he thought he had thrown it. But I think those were the only two times we touched him in the backfield. It was Isaiah Land, you know. So again, if you can't get to him and he's able to sit back there comfortably, he's one of the top quarterbacks in America. And he showed that yesterday. So you know, they've done a really good job. And then Travis Hunter, you know, I think he had a PBU that almost led to an interception. So he's as good as advertised. I think he's even still nursing a little bit of an ankle. So he's not even at 100%. And so, you know, again, you knew those guys, you know about the talent that they have at those key positions, but again, they've done a great job of acquiring talent across the board. So, you know, again, they're a really good football team.
Last question goes to Donald Ware.
What's going on, Coach Simmons? How are you?
Hey, Donald, how's it going?
Pretty good. Can you kind of take us through the process of how, you know, maybe what the difference was this week in terms of being able to get those 17 guys certified opposed to last week? Did the NCAA look at something differently? How were you able to get 17 this week and not the previous week?
Well, it's just a heavy workload for our compliance officer. You know, she was working night and day 2 weeks ago to try to get as many of those waivers out as she could. And she was able to get, I think, 6 out that first week. And you know, we got the 7, and we got, I think, 3 of them approved, and the 4 denials. And then coming back this week, you know, again, I commend Dr. Charles McClellan at the SWAC office, you know, for sending their compliance officer Reginald down, and he and Lori and our university compliance team, they churned out, you know, as many as they could in that week. And so we were able to get the appeals done for the 4 guys that were denied, you know, submitting some new information that, you know, didn't get submitted the first time. And then we were able to, you know, get a few more guys certified. So again, it's a team effort, you know, and when you have low staffing, which we had before, it's very difficult with a heavy workload, but with the additional staff and the commitment from our administration to get this stuff done, we were able to get it done. Again, we still have a few more to do, and hopefully we'll get those out, you know, as quickly as possible. But again, you know, it was an all day, all night process to get the guys cleared. They got cleared, and I took my hat to the administration for seeing the need to get it done, make it the #1 priority. And so, you know, hopefully we can get past that this week, get everybody back, and be able to just focus on playing football, not on who's certified, who's not certified. Just focus on the team that we have and go play good football.
So the process is more time, the amount of time it takes to get guys certified as opposed to what actually needs to happen. Is that fair to say?
Well, when it comes to situations like ours, you know, oftentimes the certification process can be completed, you know, a little bit quicker than maybe we did this year. You know, obviously we had some turnover in our compliance office. And so when the compliance officer was appointed, you know, she was appointed a workload, but difficult to certify the guys in ample time. And we have some processes that, you know, working through that, you know, kind of made it necessary to file the waivers with some of our major changes and some of the other things that we had to do. And again, that's why it's not a situation where we had a lot of guys ineligible. We didn't. You know, we only had a handful of guys, 1 or 2, 3 guys that aren't academically eligible to play. Everybody else is just a process of when their grade change went into the system, when their major change went into the system, and because it went in after the deadline, we have to submit a waiver to the NCAA to say, hey, look, the kid is certified to play. Here's the information, and you know, so that we don't get dinged on the back end, right? We're trying to just cover our tracks, dot every I, cross every T, to make sure that because we're still on probation, if the NCAA does a degree audit, that it doesn't look like we're certifying guys that technically aren't eligible in a previous major when they switch their majors to something else, right? And so those are the type of things that we're working through. And again, so it's more so just policy and procedure than it is, and that's why I was adamant last week that we don't have X number of ineligible players, but we just had guys that weren't certified to compete, and that's because of some of those processes that we're working through as a university. So, but again, everybody's working hard at it. Hopefully we can get the rest of those guys in at the beginning of this week.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
It's no problem.
Coach Simmons, we really appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking with you again next week.
All right, thank you guys. I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Gonna have a slight adjustment to our coach's schedule for today. Coach Hugh Jackson will go at 12:05. Coach Hugh Jackson, once again, his time will be 12:05 to 12:15. With that said, we will move to Arkansas Pine Bluff and head coach Doc Gamble. I do see that we have Coach with us. Good morning, Coach.
Hello.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us on our media session. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Lane.
Well, it was a good win for us. It's always good to win. It's always fun to win. You always want to win your first one, especially that, out the gate. Played a good Lane team. I would be shocked if they don't have a great year. They had a really good team, very much improved from a year ago. Last time we played them, and it showed. They have some good players. They got some influx of transfers, quite just like a little bit of everybody that we're going to play, even ourselves. So we played really well on offense. We still left some points out there out on the field that we should have got. Played really good in our special units. And then we struggled at times defensively. Played good in spurts defensively. Offensively, we gave our defense some bad field position a couple of times in the game that led to a score, but we expect our defense to get stops. But again, hats off to Lane as well. They made it close, and I thought it was going to be a tough game because it's Lane, and they play you tough, and they've played us tough the last two times that we played them.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll now open up for questions for Coach Gamble. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Cavill inside the HBCU Sports Lab. How's it going this morning, Coach Gamble?
Good. How about for yourself?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you asking. Want to get in a couple of components of the game this weekend. First, I want to ask you, what were your thoughts on Skylar Prairie? Obviously put up some numbers, but he did have an interception and a fumble. What were your overall thoughts in terms of his play?
Skylar played well. You take that away, you take those two items away, he had an excellent game. Yeah, the fumble was really, he took a shot to the head, and I think anybody would drop the ball behind that.
Yes, sir.
And then the INT really wasn't his fault either. We're running a curl route, and got a freshman wide out. He's running the old school button hook, instead of coming back to the ball. But to the untrained eye, you'd think it's on the quarterback. So he really played a really good game. I want him to, fifth-year senior, and he needs to play a flawless football game for us. He did that. He played well. He played really well, but it's some things, he can fine tune, and right now for him, it's just about playing with the savviness of a guy who's taking a ton of reps the whole time, so, but he played pretty well for us. And he didn't play pretty well. He played really good.
Appreciate that. Offense, in terms of rushing and receiving, you were balanced, 254 yards on 47 carries, rushing the ball, passing 19 to 267 between the two quarterbacks, I should say, and multiple receivers. Do you like that idea of the balance you had there, or how are you moving forward with it?
Whatever it takes to score points. That's what I like. Whatever it takes to score points. So we were able to we were good at both of them in those phases. We got a talented running back now, and Kayvon Britton. I think he rushed for over 200 plus yards, and he got some other guys. It's funny how when you get a good stable or a good competition at a certain position, it makes the cream rise to the top, and that's pushed him. And we know he's playing he's been practicing, and now he played at a high level. So real excited about him. He's just a true sophomore as well, but he's a talented dude. But all those are able to, those numbers we put up were able to be done because of the guys up front. That's been a good group for us. And that's really we got a good, strong, old offensive line. I truly believe that.
Last question I have is more on the defensive side of the ball. You said you had some concerns, some parts of it, in terms of them being able to get it in the air, 328 yards. Was that more in terms of the upline, defensive front not being able to get pressure, or a combination of the back end? not being able to really stay with people?
Well, no, it's they took some shots, they challenged, they got some good dudes over there at the wide out position, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of, and we got some good defensive backs, but still we played undisciplined at times, you know, a little bit too much for my liking, you know, as far as our placement, out of position here, out of position there. When in position, we're able to compete and challenge for the football. But when you take yourself out of position by just not doing what you're coached to do, then that's a sign of a non-disciplined football team, you know. So it's either, you know, we got to say either we're allowing it or we're coaching it. So those things get corrected this morning.
No doubt. Good luck this weekend against North America. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next question goes to IC Morrell.
Coach Gamble, how you doing today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Just fine, sir. Thanks very much. Look, just talking about Kayvon, I mean, he's part of your Ohio pipeline. I take it you got to see him play over in Cincinnati. What did you like about him when you were recruiting him?
Well, I was recruiting Kayvon as like several other guys that we got in our program. Is when I was at my previous school, I recruited these guys. You know, they were part of it, and wasn't able to get them initially because I came here and then just lo and behold, they're back available. You know, Kayvon was a highly recruited guy out of high school. You know, as a mid-major kid. He's a FBS guy, but he was a mid-major FBS, you know, that MAC level, Sun Belt level type of dude. Where he ended up having to go to prep school, you know, and then he reached back out to us, you know. So it's just those recruiting relationships that have been able to benefit us since coming here, and that typically happens. You know, if it does not work, if somebody's looking for a home, well, who was the guy that recruited me before? You know, let me reach back out, see if there's still some interest. And of course, we had some interest in him here. So, and we got a few other guys on the team, just that's the same way. You know, I recruited, you know, for example, Noah Hayes, he came here 18. I was recruiting Noah at my previous school, and then end up here. And then he said, Coach, I want to come with you, you know. So those things go a long way. That's to me, that's the relationship part of recruiting.
And then going back to the defensive line, the freshman Luckman, he had 2 sacks in the first half. And then Javon Gray, who you listed as a first stringer, he came up with that crucial sack on 4th down, allowed you guys to have the ball for the final possession. Coach, you know, can you tell me what you saw about Luckman coming out of Ohio? And then just give me an idea of Javon's growth.
Well, we recruited Nas. Nas, he's coming along faster than what we thought he would be. Thought he's going to be about a year away, but he's saying, no, I'm a right now guy, you know, so that's been good for us. But it's a pleasant surprise. We got some older guys that we can play. I think we really challenged it up front. But he's really, he's saying he's not going to wait to his sophomore year or take a redshirt year to get better. He wants to play right now, and he's been able to do it. Javon's been a mainstay for us up front in the middle. He's more of a plugger than pass rusher, but he gets the job done. He plays relentless. That whole unit up front, and they're well coached too by Tom Simmons. So, and they get after you, and I'm really happy with those guys. We can do some other things too to pressure the QB for us, but you know, coming into this year was the main thing. You got to stop the run. And, you know, we need guys who can stop the run. I think we got that. So now the next phase of it is, you know, our conference, people can throw the ball around. So we got to be able to put pressure on the quarterback and make him not get comfortable.
Thanks very much.
Right.
Question goes to James Hill.
How you doing, Coach?
I'm fine. How about yourself?
Awesome. Raekwon Prince, your wide receiver. Talk a little bit about that gentleman and what he was able to do in week 1.
He's just what Raekwon has been able to do is he's doing what he did all through training camp. He practiced hard every single day. He's been consistent every single day, and it showed up on game day. So he's been of that unit. He's been the most consistent dude. Right now, he plays hard, he plays fast. He's you know, he's a snap the whistle guy, you know, for us, and he's played really well, and he's trying to make himself become the go-to guy, which is great, you know, for us.
Coach, it's week 2. You get an opportunity to get another one, North American. Tell us a little bit about that and what you think.
Yeah, the last part of your question broke off, but a little bit about North American. We got the video late last night, so we're really diving into them here this morning and trying to get to know them and to see who they are. They lost the first one, maybe the first 2. We just need to make sure they lose 3.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
All right.
Coach Campbell, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. We go to Mississippi Valley State and head coach Vincent Dancy. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Great. Thank you so much for asking, Coach. As always, we appreciate your time. If you would please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Charlton State.
I thought we played well. I thought we went out and competed against a well-coached team, a good football team, a program that's probably transitioning to Conference USA next year with a lot of transfers. I thought offensively we went out and we checked some boxes that I was looking for. We was able to establish a physicality that I'm looking for up front. Rushing for well over 200 plus yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Not only only giving up 2 sacks. Defensively, I thought we ran to the ball well. We played hard up front, played tough, played physical. We just got to work on some of our third down situations, and we'll get that corrected. But overall, I thought we played hard, extremely tough.
Thank you so much for those opening comments, Coach. We'll now open up for questions for Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Cavill inside the HBCU Sports Lab. How you doing this morning, Coach Dan?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you asking. Want to talk a little bit about Jelani Eason. What were your thoughts on his overall play?
I thought he played well. When we came back and watched the film, of course we missed 2 big plays that we could have. I thought we could have scored off. Had receivers scorching down the sideline wide open that we missed. But I thought he did well. I thought he managed the game well. Didn't turn the ball over. Didn't have no turnovers that game. So, like I said, we went into this game wanted to establish that physicality that we always preach and that we always talk about here, playing the Valley way, and we wanted to go out and run the ball, and that's what we did. We just got to get more, out of our passing game, and that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to work on, and eventually I know it'll get there.
Yeah, defensively, I thought you were solid in most parts of the game. Obviously, points-wise, maybe people see it a little differently, but I thought that was induced to the offense maybe not being able to get going until the second half. Talk about the mix between your offense and defense and how that will help you moving forward.
Offensively, we just got to start faster. I thought, we started slow. The first half, we started slow. We moved the ball up and down the field, but we kind of got stagnant with, either a penalty or something that happened during the drive. But defensively, I thought we did what we needed to do early on in the game. I wanted to go in 10-0 at the half, but they kind of scored late that second half with like 2 minutes left. And converted on 4 third downs. So we know defense we had to get out. Defensively, we needed to get out the field, but I thought defensively we played hard and tough. Normally that's who we are and that's what we do. Play hard and tough on defense, but offensively, I think we eventually would get that passing game, that passing attack going. But we just started slow in that second half. We came right out and scored. Right after halftime. So. It's a lot we got to work on, but like I said, man, I'm proud of the way we went out and competed against a real good Tarleton State team who, for the past 3-4 years, they've been really good in their conference and transitioning into, the Division I.
Great point. And on to this week's game with the Governors, Austin Peay. Another pretty strong team going on the road again, but this is another chance to play an FCS program and establish Mississippi Valley in regards to getting going. Have you had a chance to look at the film for this matchup, and what are your plans to do? I know it's a lot about what Valley wants to do, but what do you see schematically of what they're looking at?
Oh, man, very, very good team, well-coached football team. Again, one of those FCS opponents who can score the ball. They can score offensively. They do a lot offensively when it comes to formations. They try to formation you to death, but Like I said, man, we just want to go out and do what we do, and that's knock people around and play hard, establish a presence up front, and be able to take what we did wrong, correct some of the mistakes that we did this week, and go out and execute better against Austin P, like our third down defense. So that's what we're looking forward to. Defensively, they're a big team. They like to fly around to the ball. Got a good secondary behind them. But like I said, we're gonna do what we do, and that's establish the run game and try to get more, big plays down the field in our passing game with more vertical passes. So another tough opponent, but I think we will be ready for the match.
Exactly. Want to talk a little bit. Last question I have is off the field. Saw some of the pitches where I guess there's the dedication of the trucks to be able to move equipment around for the football team and probably all athletics. Talk about the momentum of getting more things done, resource-wise for athletics, particularly for the football program, as well as some of the things that are being done for the field.
I think it's outstanding, trying to move in the right direction with this program. I think if we want to be a top program, that we of course, resources is one thing that's critical and that we need, here at Mississippi Valley. So if we planning on moving this program forward in the near future, then more resources have to come. But I'm proud of what our new AD has been able to do recently with the program, and I look for more things to come. So anything that we could get is positive, especially for these student athletes, and I'm proud to be in the position that I am to help this program move forward into the near future.
Thank you for sharing that perspective, and good luck this weekend, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody back in the Delta are well. Good to talk to you this morning. Can you talk a little bit about Valley, just your running attack? The ground attack is on point. You guys are moving the ball downfield.
Oh man, that's just who we are. That's who we are, man. We call it the Valley way. That we're a physical team up front on both sides of the ball. And that's what we want to do. Anytime we go into the game, we want to establish the run game. We want to stop the run on defense, but establish the run game on offense. And that's what we've been able to do with two good talented backs this year, man. I mean, Caleb Johnson, he ran the ball hard. He ran the ball well as I knew he would. But Jacoby Thomas stepped up big time. 64-yard run, was well over, I think, 6 to 7 yards per carry. He eclipsed over 80+ yards. So both of those guys were able to establish the run game and run hard, but it all starts up front. And when you got a good front that can knock people around and handle people at will, and they love to do that. They do it week in and week out at practice. That's how we practice it. And so that's who we are, and we're gonna continue to be that way. We're gonna establish the run game, and we're gonna play off the run game.
Coach, your linebackers and your secondary, talk a little bit about your defense and what you see happening back there and guys getting better every week.
Got to get better. We got to get better at those two positions. I thought we missed a few plays, especially with our linebacker core. We got a veteran group of linebackers that I thought didn't play up to my expectation, but I know they will come out next week after they watch this film and get better from it, because they can play. They are talented players that have been in the system for a while. Some of them been here, they're fifth-year guys. So didn't play up to my expectation, but I know that they will get better. In the secondary, I thought we gave up too much on third down. And on third down, you expect them to pass, and you got to be ready for the challenge. And I thought we gave up too much in the secondary. But again, man, we played a lot of guys. We were able to play almost 50+ guys in this game, and that was a good thing to get everybody some reps and some experience, because as the season moves forward, we won't play that many guys, but we wanted a lot of guys to play to see how who steps up and who meets the challenge and who plays up to not only my expectations but the coach's expectations. So we will get better. I know we will get better. And we're just going to take it one game at a time.
Talk a little bit about the health factor as you move into to play a guarantee game and just continue to just grind it out. But talk a little bit about health, and that has to be something that you want to make sure is good.
Yeah, that's the only scary part when you're playing these non-conference games. The health. Going in trying to stay healthy coming out. I thought we managed to do that. I think we had one, significant injury coming out of this game. I think the others just, it's just just week in and week out, just being sore and playing hard. It's gonna be like that. I tell them all the time, hey, we play the way we play. It's gonna be some bumps and bruises throughout the course of the week, and that's just some things you have to get treatment with and work out throughout the course of the week and be able to monitor throughout the course of the practice. But we want to stay healthy as possible, getting into conference, because we know we open up against a strong team once conference time comes.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you. We now go to Prairie View A&M. Head Coach Bubba McDowell. I do believe we have Coach.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's victory over Texas Southern.
I think we went into this game with a game plan, knowing that it was probably the weather was going to play a big part in what we do and how we do it. We went into this game just, with a game plan of running the ball, running the football. These young men did exactly what we've been working on all week. They stepped up to the challenge, just basically, blocking out all the adversity, all the things that could distract them from playing a good game like this. With the weather delay that we had, I think it was like 3 or 4 before we actually got going with the football game. So they did a great job in just staying focused and and executing the things that they was taught to do throughout the whole week. It was some things that we can definitely get better on going into this week. Well, went out this morning and did some corrections. So, and just getting ready for Abilene Christian. But we played a good football team. When they came out the bat and punched us in the mouth with the kickoff return, just at that point, just trying to keep these young men, focused and on, hey, what, it's good that they did it early. So some things that we could correct at that point in time rather than doing it later in the game. So they stayed poised and came out and did what they were supposed to do throughout the whole game.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We'll now open it for questions for Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Bill inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Bubba, and congratulations on a big win over the rival.
What's up, Doc? Thank you, sir.
No problem. Wanted to ask you about being your offensive line. You were able to rush for 388 yards on 65 carries. You had 3 rushers over 100 yards. Jaden Stewart, a lot of people are aware of him, 22 carries, 119 yards, 5.4, got in the end zone twice. Ahmad Antoine, 24 carries, 115 yards, 4.8 on a touchdown, as well as Trayvon Connell. Didn't necessarily pass much, but he was able to rush for 109 yards on 8 carries, 13.6 with 2 touchdowns. Talk about what you were able to physically impose your will on the Tigers this past Saturday.
And again, and we know, again, coming in, what they were showing us throughout the week, we came into this game plan, ready and hoping to run the ball as well as we thought we could. And especially with the backs that we have, and you talk about the O-line, we got some big dudes up front, getting away from the throwing because of the weather, it just, we had our guys, really focusing on, a game where it was going to be a run game situation. And, like I said, they stepped up to the challenge, man, and they did very well. We them big boys up front, you can't say enough about them, throughout the whole game, and the good thing about it is the crazy thing, should I say, we didn't play a whole lot of guys on that offensive line. Those guys pretty much played the whole game, and for them to stay the course, throughout the whole game for 4 quarters was tremendous, and like I told the coaches, we gotta continue to have these kids, get better, understanding, that, in situations like this, weather like this, this is what they need to do. And, like I said, they stepped up to it, man, the challenge, and, we ran the ball really, really well.
Your team responded after Trayvon Connell went out. 1, can you talk about where he is in terms of his health? And 2, the reflection of your team being able to respond when he went out, with Texas Southern scoring 10 points but your team responded really well and was able to close out the game really strong.
Yes, sir. I mean, again, and that's what we're all about. And again, that's what, we're trying to instill to these young men. There are going to be some ups and downs, as I told them, throughout the course of the game. You just got to stay in there, stay the course, and make sure that you're doing your job and your job only. We'll come out and win this game. They when Trezon went out with the cramps, it was nothing, structure or anything. He was cramping really bad after that long run that he had, and we brought the young buck in there, and Channing Dumas, true freshman from Pato High School. And again, we did a great job. I think our OC Mark Frederick did a great job in just controlling the ball with him in there, and and taking some time off the clock, in order for us to secure that game.
Thank you for sharing that and providing the update. Moving on to Abilene Christian, they got a win last week against Lamar, 28-14. Have you had a chance to look at any film on them, and are you going to seek to kind of still run the ball, or you maybe open it up a little bit this week?
Yeah, they're a good team. They're a good team. Multiple shift on offense. They do a lot of shifting on offense. I mean, they're three-man route running type teams. They send out three wideouts pretty much the entire game. But we definitely we're going to open it up. We absolutely, again, we're going to give Trezon, the opportunity to throw the ball, use some of those athletes out there on the edge, So again, we're pretty fast offensively. We're pretty fast defensively. So we got weapons on the outside. We got some weapons in that backfield. And, one of the things I told the wideouts yesterday, is that, at the end of the game, I say, hey, your time is coming. This wasn't the game, but your time is coming. And I just told them I was very proud of them, just staying the course, and being that teammate that everybody loves, and just continue to uplift those backs as they was running the way that they was running. But it was like I said, it was really good for them to see that, it's not always going to be me. But my time is coming, but you still have to be a great teammate, when it's not your time, and again, I think more so this week, we're going to open it up, and it will be their time.
Certainly give my colleagues a chance, but congratulations on their defense as well. They were really solid in terms of shutting down one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Good luck this weekend, and thank you, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Good morning, Coach. I hope you and everybody in the Texas area are well. Can you talk a little bit about this rivalry game and what it was like to get that first one, and the second quarter and the third quarter looked like a game changer, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, as these young men know, I mean, you got two teams, local teams, two great university, HBCU university, man, that go up against each other every year. It's always a good game, because again, no matter, as I always tell guys, it's, when these two teams play each other, a lot of times, some say one team has a better talent than the other, but a lot of times when these two teams play each other, that doesn't matter, because a lot of times it's more about the pride thing. And again, they hit us in the mouth early. We responded, we did our thing, and then all of a sudden, the tide shifted, and then they started coming back. So as they started coming back, as I told my guys on the sideline, hey, we got to stay the course, man. This game is not over. We talked about just playing 4 quarters of football. And as I told them, I said, look, man, the team that makes the least mistakes in this game is going to come out victorious, So when that tide shifts, we gotta understand that, we still got to play the game. We got to play it to the best of our ability. So, you got young men from all across the Texas area, going to these two schools, have played high school football with one another. So, you're gonna get their very best, when they see each other, and that way, it's a bragging thing as well for the state of Texas. So, again, it's always going to be a great game, no matter what the outcome is. It was great to see the crowd from both sides as well. I don't think since I've been here, we've had a crowd like that. I mean, even with the rain delay, it was awesome to see that the fans were still out there cheering both teams on.
Coach, your quarterback, Andrew, what are you seeing from that gentleman, and just take us into his game and his development?
Oh, Andrew, I mean, body, I mean, again, we knew coming into this game that we were going to try. We had to stop him. We want to try to put pressure on him as much as possible, keep him in the box as much as possible. Because again, we know that this young man can do some damage when you let him go. And we did a good job at keeping him in there. Certain times, I thought, the disappointing part, as we, discussed with our guys, we got to do better tackling. Because we had this young man, in the backfield several times, and we still didn't get him down. He's a big dude, and guys don't realize how big he is until they hit him and how strong he is, and it showed up. So, we missed a lot of tackles, even with the 15 tackles for loss, but with all set with the missed tackles that we had, we can get a whole lot better on that defense, coming up this week. We just got to make sure that we get this tackling thing handled, and because we're gonna have to do that going against ACU this week.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great week.
Thank you, sir.
Last question goes to Kyle Mosley.
Coach, how you doing? You feeling great?
Yes, sir. How you doing, my buddy?
All right, man. Look, after the game, you talked about the speed of your defense. Can you elaborate on that, as well as did you take home the Dooley Knicks trophy and sleep with it?
I did not. I did not. I couldn't find it at the end of the game. I think some of the kids might have taken it home with them. But yeah, our defense is really fast, guys, and I've been saying that all year long. We got some veteran guys coming back. We lost 2 good ones to the transfer portal, but we thought going out recruiting that we filled those spots. As I told many people, many reporters, that I think first time since I've been here that we've been this deep defense on the defensive line. We went 3, 4, some 4 areas deep. And guys that can run, guys that can push. That's really strong. But like I said, our strength is, again, it's just speed. The linebackers that we have, Trey Green, Keyshawn Johnson, Warren Schenkel, those guys did an excellent job. Again, we still waiting on Ja'Marr Harris to get back from the ACL. Defensive back area is getting better. I would say probably of the whole team, that's probably our weakest link. But again, we do well because of that front 7 up there. And like I said, those not only strong, but they're fast as well. So it's a good thing we got 3 deep, because now we can rotate guys in and out. And as you guys know, a lot of times, be successful, keep those guys fresh and ready to go throughout the course of the game.
And how did this game help you with your recruiting efforts in the Texas area?
I think it helped quite a bit. Again, when you're going, these 2 teams play each other. We both, me and Coach McKinney, fighting for our recruits. A lot of times, whoever wins this game, they're gonna get some good athletes. And that's a great thing, because again, now you're competing against not only your race across the street, but again against Texas Southern. And we got to win that battle when we out there recruiting, because again, a lot of times when we start this game, or when we start this game, first game of the season, if you don't win this game, there's a great chance and possibility, you won't get a chance to play, for that on the west side anyway, for that championship. So it's very important, as we told the kids, we got to go out and win this game.
All right. Congrats, Coach.
Thanks.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next up, we go to Southern University. Head coach, I see Coach Dooley with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing great, Coach, as always. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's victory over Florida Memorial.
Well, it was good to start off getting a chance to go against another opponent. We've been in camp for a little while and going against ourselves. So I thought it was very, very exciting to get those guys the opportunity to go against another opponent. I thought they came out and played well. both offensively and defensively, and as well as special team wise. We got a chance to play a lot of guys, and that's always exciting to get guys to play their first collegiate game. But I thought we executed at a high level. The one bump in the road that I saw that I make sure that we're going to scratch where it is. You talk about the penalties. We can't afford to have that many penalties. So we made some corrections early this morning. Feel good about what we did, and now we just got to get things going back and get ready to play another exciting game this coming Saturday.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. Media, just a quick reminder, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature here on Zoom. Please limit your questions to 2 questions, 1 question, then a follow-up. If we do have the time, we will work our way back to you. First question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Dooley, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, Coach. Watching LSU last night, if you had a chance to watch that game, your assessment of Jaden Daniels and what you have to do to contain him on defense.
Well, when you talk about a Daniels, he's like the quarterback that's in our conference. They can escape. They can beat you with their legs. So we expected that. Just seeing the young man when he came over from Arizona State, we know what he was going to bring to the table. But guys that didn't have a big passing game, but you saw how well he can beat you with his legs. So we know we got to make sure that we play assignment sound football.
Keyshawn Boutte didn't have a chance to get on track last night. So will that be a key part of your defense too, trying to keep him in check, because obviously they want to get him on track?
Well, you got to know that they're going to want to try to get the ball to him now. You're talking about probably arguably one of the best receivers in the nation. So I feel that they're going to try to get the ball to him. So we know the weapons that they bring, not just Boutte. They have several guys that they can play. We're talking about a team that is expected to try to compete for their conference championship.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Jim Kleinpeter.
Hi, Coach. Your past with Southern is deep. What does it mean to Southern's community to be able to play this game? This is a game probably some of them had never thought they'd see happen. Would you talk a little bit about what it means on an emotional level?
I mean, this is going to be very, very exciting for both sides. When you talk about the city of Baton Rouge, I always mention the last time we came together to do anything was 2003, and I was fortunate enough to be a part of that. But that was at the reign where both sides won the national championship. So of course that was exciting. Now we're going to have to compete for 60 minutes on the field. I'm pretty sure it's exciting. I was happy to get the first game out of the way because I couldn't even comment on the first game. Everyone wanted to know about the second game, which was September the 10th. I think it's going to be very exciting for those young men for both sides. Something that the fans really been waiting on. So now we get an opportunity to play and line down in Tiger Stadium.
Have you talked to your team about not getting too emotional about the game or putting more into it than there is?
Absolutely. We stressed we had an opportunity to get together this morning and do some corrections, and then introduction of LSU. So those, they understand. We can't let the stage get too big and worry about where we playing. It's who we playing, and we just got to play our brand of football. And that's what we preach and teach every day throughout our practices.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Keisha Kelly.
Hey, Coach, White College Experience. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. So leading up to this, and we know that this is a historical game, what is it doing for the morale of the team this week? Because there's so many things I know that's going on. What is it doing for the team this week?
Well, I do understand that we're playing LSU this week here, but we've been coaching our guys up. This game is big because it's the next game. We take it one game at a time, and we understand the game that's right now is a challenge for us. So they understand. I think the morale that the guys are ready to play. They get opportunity to play guys that they probably see or that they bump into around town. So we're better than some of these guys was teammates with some of these guys. So it's exciting for not just our team, but the whole city of Baton Rouge and the surrounding area. So the morale is up, and those guys will be ready to go on Saturday.
All right, Coach, I'll see you in Baton Rouge.
Look forward to it.
Next, we'll take a question from Thomas Foreman.
Coach, good afternoon.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Afternoon on the East Coast, so forgive me. Florida State didn't do you any favors last night because they basically you now have an LSU team that's probably going to be a little bit upset because it didn't complete what it set out to do, and that was win a football game. It's their home opener. Emotions are going to run high. What's your approach to them? You have to play your own game, but you have to look at them too. What do you say? How do you approach it? What's the strategy?
It's never going to change for us. We know what we set out to do. We know what we want to do. We know what we got to accomplish. So it's not about who won the game or who lost the game. It's about what Southern University need to do to make sure that we can be successful within 60 minutes. So we don't change our game plan because of the outcome of another game. We play the game the way that we're supposed to play it, the way that our coaches go out and scout the game and see what's going to be best fit us to be successful in this game. So we're going to come in here with the mindset to go 1-0. That's no question about that. So when those guys understand that, those guys been training all summer long for these type of games. So we'll be prepared for it.
Okay, and as a follow-up and something you alluded to earlier, you got 86 points and rolled up 612 yards of total offense. That's a lot of points, a lot of yards. Can you get a true gauge of your team on that performance because it was so lopsided?
Yeah, absolutely. It's never about the opponent that we're playing. It's about what we can do, who we want to be, what our true identity is, on how we're going to execute. And I always preach and teach to execute at a high level, regardless of who you play, because you just never know what the situation is going to be about. So we take it one game at a time. Those guys understand that. Yes, we executed the way that we did at a high level, and a lot of things we're not hoping to, we expected to. So the things that they were able to do on Saturday, they put themselves in that situation to execute it on that level. So we just got to continue to go back and correct the things that we can correct and get better and try to win the day.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Ville.
Good morning, Coach Dooley.
Good morning, Doc.
Thank you. Want to ask you first, everybody obviously is enamored with the 86 points, but your defense shut Florida Maury out. Can you talk a little bit about the defensive side of the ball and what you were able to get done in that matchup?
That's what I was excited about. I know everybody say, well, you're an offensive-minded guy. Absolutely. But you got to take your hat off to the defense. They created turnovers. They created points for you. And they create a lot of 3 and outs, and that's what I was more excited about, to see the way that the defense played, because I think you cannot be a complete football team if you don't have a dominant defense, and that's what we want to keep harping on. We got to be able to play in all 3 phases as well. But I thought our defense came out and played some exciting football. The guys that I expected to step up and make plays, they did make plays. So we're excited about that. We know it's going to be a challenge anytime we play. So those guys playing well together, and they're still learning to play with one another. So I think the best is yet to come.
I can understand your excitement with the defense and the talent you have over there. I continue to look and be amazed as well. I want to talk about, obviously, this week's game. Last year, you had a chance to play Texas A&M, another SEC team. It was later in the season versus this time you're playing LSU early in the season. I know, generally speaking, it's about spot the ball, whoever's there. It's going to be about what your team plans to do moving forward. But could you provide any framework of, if you're going to play these types of games, does it make more sense to play them early versus late?
Well, I think if you're going to play this game, I think it's always better to play early, because when you talk about the level of competition that is in our conference right now, you definitely want to play early, because you don't want to get caught up having to play a game right before a big game, because every game is big now. There's no such thing as I got a game where I can let off the gas. There's no such thing, and I like it because it's competition across the board. But I think it probably, to those guys, it probably doesn't matter. Right now, we're putting ourselves in position to play the game, regardless of who we play. We're going to step up to the challenge and be ready to play.
No doubt. Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Got time for one more question. That'll go to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on that victory and your return to Mumford. Just talk a little bit about this quarterback you have, Deshaun McCray, and you guys played well, and you get another opportunity. You take him on the road across town into LSU. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I thought Deshaun came out and did a lot of great things. He executed the offense. My mindset is I'm not looking for a quarterback that can manage the game for me. I'm looking for a quarterback that can win the game for me. If I'm the coach that's on the sideline, if I can't manage the game, then something is wrong. We have the wrong person. So I'm not looking for a game manager. I need a guy that can go out and win the game and understand what he's going to be able to do. But I thought he came out and would execute on a high level, made some great decisions, made sure that he protected himself as well. And then he was able to win with his legs as well as throwing the football. So he did the things that we thought he was capable of doing. And now he just got to take it to another level, because now guys got game film on you and they understand what you're capable of doing. So, of course, they're going to scheme to try to stop you from doing the things that you're very, very talented to do. So I was well pleased with him, never satisfied. I think he's going to take it to another level. And I thought our other guys played well as well. We got a chance to play 4 quarterbacks, and we wanted to do that. It wasn't designed; it just happened. So I think we're in a good spot right now. We still got to play some football. Still got a huge schedule ahead of us, but I think we're headed in the right direction.
Coach, this weekend sets up the SWAC and the SEC. A great game, the pageantry, the history. Just talk a little bit about, again, a big stage, Baton Rouge. All eyes on Baton Rouge.
Absolutely. We don't worry about the stage. We're gonna play football. We're gonna play for 60 minutes. We do understand that a great football team over there didn't turn out the way that they wanted it to turn out. Things happen like that, but you can see that the football they played for 60 minutes, something that we preach over here. Those guys had a chance to win it at the end, or tie the game at least at the end. So things happen like that. So we know what our challenges are, and we'll be up for the challenge.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next up, we go to Texas Southern. Texas Southern head coach Clarence McKinney. I do believe we have Coach with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us as well. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing at Prairie View A&M.
Yeah, I went to Prairie View this past weekend and started strong, scored on our opening drive, but we stalled throughout the game from that point on. Thought we were lackadaisical in all phases of the game. Offensively, as explosive as we like. We gave a block punt in the special teams game, and defensively, we couldn't get off the field. So it was a total team effort. This weekend at Prairie View, we got a lot of work to do, and our guys are ready to get started.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll open for questions for Coach McKinney. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Dr. Cavill, inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I know it's coming off a tough weekend, put a lot of work in the offseason in regards to that. How are the players holding up in regards to being prepared for the next week's game?
Oh, we're preparing. Our guys are adjusting, and we've put that game behind us, and it's time to move on to the next one.
One more question on this game, and then, like you said, moving forward, you've talked about the defensive struggles that you thought in that game. Where on the defensive side were you most concerned about?
Well, I thought we struggled in 3 phases of the game. We didn't offensively. We weren't sound special teams wise, and defensively, really, I thought our pass defense was great. Our run defense is where we got to become much more improved.
Last question I have for you, Coach, as you talked about North Texas this week. They already have 2 games under their belt, going 1-1 in those 2 matchups. What are your thoughts in terms of what they bring to the table?
Yeah, North Texas is a big physical opponent for us. They like to run the ball and pound you, and it's going to be a real challenge for us, but we're looking forward to it. We'd like to make it a track meet. They're a fast, up-tempo team as well, so hopefully we can get them in a track meet and see what happens.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Your question broke up.
No, I'm just saying thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, good morning. Can you talk a little bit about week one? It looked like the second quarter and the third quarter were kind of the difference in the ball game.
Yeah, definitely. First quarter, we felt pretty good. We were solid. Scored on the opening drive, but in that second quarter, we kind of stalled offensively, and Prairie View did a really good job of hanging on to the ball and keeping the ball away from our offense and scoring some points as well. And defensively, we couldn't get off the field. And, you know, when you can't get off the field and give your offense the ball back, bad things will happen. You can't score points without the ball.
Coach, what are you seeing with Andrew playing the quarterback position?
Andrew, I think he was pressing a little bit, trying to make a play, and we just need him to relax and be himself, go out, have fun, and enjoy the moment when he has the ball.
Coach, when teams play up so-called money games, talk a little bit about safety and health and just trying to be healthy and maintain a certain level of health on the roster.
Yeah, well, when you play any game, you know, you want to do your best to come out of it as healthy as possible, so you can. The best teams play their best players week in and week out. So if we can come out of this game healthy, we came out of the Prairie View game fairly healthy. So we can get our best players on the field. We feel like we got a chance. We're not going to North Texas just to play the game. We're going to North Texas to win the game. So we got an opportunity to compete. We want to compete to the best of our ability, improve our program, and try and win the game.
Thank you, Coach. Enjoy your holiday and enjoy your week.
Thank you. You do the same.
Next question goes to Kyle Mosley.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
All right, how's it going, Kyle?
Good, good. Look, Andrew had, he was very disappointed after the game, and I saw you gave those guys a passionate post-game message on the field. What were you telling your guys?
You know, if you work hard and things doesn't go your way, it's about how you deal with adversity, you know. And so winners deal with adversity by attacking it, and losers deal with adversity by blaming people. And so we want to become winners. We want to attack the adversity and just go and improve, find the areas that we need to improve upon and improve in those areas.
Okay, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach McKinney with Texas Southern. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speak with you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we go to Jackson State. Head coach.
A little bit more.
Coach.
Oh, set me up a little more. Thank you. Oh, your screen's so different than mine. You got all kinds of junk going on over here. How's
Good
everybody?
morning. Good morning, Coach.
I'm sorry, we're on a different screen. He ain't got all fancy. You know, I'm used to just a regular old laptop. He got all this innovation. I'm coming in and out and stuff flashing. I'm good now. We're good.
Sure. Thank you so much for taking some time to join us, Coach. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's victory over Florida A&M.
Played a wonderful opponent, well coached. Coach Simmons, one of my dear friends. Very highly anticipated match. We felt like we went out there and executed on all three phases, offense, defense, as well as special teams. A lot of people have added players and coaches to their staffs, and they forgot we did too. And I'm thankful that the kids that we added, they showed up and showed out. The coaches, the specialists, the support staff. It was a tremendous win collectively, and I'm proud of what we accomplished out there yesterday. We left some things on the field. I just got out of the cafeteria, and some of the kids are, even though we were dominant, they're upset because they said we left a few things out there on the field. But I like that thought process. I love it 100%.
Thank you for those comments, Coach. Once again, if you do have questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature, and please limit your questions to one question and a follow-up. First question will go to Mark Giannato.
Hey, Coach, this is Mark Giannato from the Commercial Appeal in Memphis. Given the circumstances of the game this week, with the backdrop of this probably being your last time at the Southern Heritage Classic and them filing a lawsuit against Jackson State, I wondered, will this week when you get to Memphis be awkward at all? And then the follow-up would be, is there any way you could see in the future the relationship being salvaged?
We're there to play football. I don't know how this could be awkward when you come to play football. The purpose is to play football, and that's what we're coming to play. As far as the business aspect of that, it's not beneficial to us. It's not suitable for us. And we love the Classic. It's a wonderful Classic. We just don't want to play in it. You ain't got nothing to do with the Classic. It's a great Classic. I think they do a wonderful job. We just choose not to take place in it anymore.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Good morning, Coach Prime. I hope you and the fellas are well at JSU. Can you talk a little bit about Shedeur? 29 of 33, 323 and 5. And again, I mean, he really has a lot of talent.
Shedeur is a pro. He's a pro, and I'm not being a father right now, I'm being a coach. He's a pro. I've been seeing this since he was a kid, but now you're seeing it at a certain level, and now you're starting to take notice because we're on a national stage. This kid prepares like no other. He's mentored by guys like Tom Brady and Brett Favre and so forth, and Troy Aikman and so forth. So he's able to glean from a Michael Vick, from some of the most positive and successful people that's in my life. And he approaches the game like no other. I mean, he sits with me on the plane, and my coordinators are seat right behind us. And I woke up to hearing him talking about every look that FAMU had, like every blitz concept that they had. And he was asking Coach Bartolome, I don't know if I butchered that. Did I butcher that? Bartolome, I said it right. Is there any other looks that FAMU could present that he's not aware of? That let me know right there he's getting ready to carve this thing like a Thanksgiving turkey, because he does so much preparing that he knew everything they could possibly throw at him in every area they could blitz from. If we're in this formation or that formation or this.
I believe we might have some technical difficulties there. Be back here momentarily. To our media on the call, I do believe we're having some technical difficulties there. We will be back here momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Okay.
Everybody back? I apologize. Yep. What happened to this fancy computer?
Yes, sir. Coach Shedeur is carving them up like turkeys, as you say. Talk a little bit about Shedeur.
I mean, he played his butt off. That's what he's capable of doing. But you got to give props to the offensive line for protecting him a little too much, and it caused us a penalty trying to get some started when some guy pushed him or whatever. But he has a new receiving core, and these guys can play. And Coach Brett, what he's doing with the play calling is phenomenal as well.
Coach, everybody wanted to take a look at your defense. Mr. Hunter was in the house, and he played well. Just talk a little bit about lights out DI Love defense, if you will.
I feel like we upgraded every level of it. The front four, the rush ends as well, the linebacker core and the secondary. We're missing Shiloh, which is a vital part of our secondary. But Evan Travis was probably at 60%. 60% of Travis Hunter is 110% anyone else. The kid can flat out play. We were really reluctant to let him play, but I had to put myself in his position, but I had to father him as well. But we made a decision to let him go out there and see how it was, and if he experienced any severe pain, we was going to get him out of there. Play shutout. He threw a shutout. I mean, we played certain defenses where you had to deal with him one-on-one, and no receivers trying to deal with Travis Hunter one-on-one. The kid is a darn bona fide pro in the making. We rushed the passer really well. What they got offensively? Was it over 100 yards?
155 total.
155 total yards. Lord Jesus. If I use profanity, I would cuss right now. 155 total yards from a team like FAMU, a well-coached team. Hats off to Dennis Sturman and the defense in their preparation. The defense really took it as a challenge to shut them down. And the only points I think they received were because of a penalty that we wouldn't normally get engaged with. But I think a blow to the helmet from Gaddy to the quarterback, which gave him a first down.
Coach, in closing, last question. The challenge to deal with, water and plumbing and in the current situation in the state of Mississippi, and in particular in the city of Jackson, as you move forward into week 2?
Well, our staff has done a wonderful job. Before we even took the field yesterday, I was assured of the kids would have somewhere to go, lay their head, somewhere to shower, somewhere to eat, somewhere that they could be comfortable. And we made certain of that. I'm in that hotel right now. But for the city of Jackson, we're still in prayer. I think we're receiving news that is more water pressure so that people can actually use the water, but you still have to boil the water that you would use if you want to brush your teeth or use it to drink or cook with. I really do feel like the city is doing, hey girl, it's my basketball coach. Yeah, my dominant, you interrupted me in the middle of a press conference. Yeah, just because you got rings and everything don't mean you can just bust up in here like that. Okay. Hey, but we're trying our best to proceed with as much normalcy as possible. We just want to get on a regular routine. We may depart a day earlier than we were supposed to go to Memphis and prepare for that. Because if we're in a hotel, we might as well be in that hotel and get out of this situation. But our staff and administrators are doing a wonderful job of making us comfortable, because we're trying to instill hope into a desolate community that needs hope right now and needs support and just need consistency as much as possible.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
Thank you. You as well, my man.
Next question goes to Keisha Kelly.
Hey, Coach, Black College Experience. How are you?
How you doing? What'd you say?
Good. A Black College Experience. Keisha Kelly is in the top.
I didn't know what you said. I was like, ooh, you going there. All right, how you doing?
I'm good. Well, congratulations on yesterday's win. And you talk about normalcy. So we know you do a lot on your social media, and this is just one of the things I wanted to going away from the game. You gave some shots out to the kicker, and you had him translate what you were saying. You said, "Bring in my theme music."
Yeah.
What made you come up with that idea? Because that was, I like that one.
Well, the things that you guys see, we've already done before. We've already done that before. You're just getting a chance to see it for the first time. Those are my guys. I really feel like we have we're the majority at HBCUs. So we feel like we have the most minority players and coaches and staff in the HBCU. And shoot, it's a family. It's not white, black, Hispanic, or whatever. It's a darn family. So when you see me engaged in some of my players like that, and I'm saying, "Si, senor," I mean, it's just funny. Like and have them translate because I want them to be a part of it. And it's just funny. Well, first time we did it, then I looked up and I asked the other, what's the other kicker? Field goal. Glenn. No, Gerardo, Big Beza. Yeah. Gerardo. I asked Gerardo to translate and he said, "Sorry, coach. No Spanish." I said, "How do you speak no Spanish? Like, what is wrong with you?" So I call him Squiggy. I said, "Squiggy, translate for him." And Squiggy translated for him. And that's what came about, man. So we just try to engage and have a good time with what we do. That's it. No harm in it.
Well, good luck this weekend, Coach.
Thank you, sis. I appreciate it.
Next question goes to Mia Berry.
Hi, Coach Prime. How are you?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. You've been very vocal about the issues happening down in Mississippi, but one thing very indicative of your SWAC attendance record, Jackson State loves to come see the team play in person. How important is it that the team play in Jackson this season?
Oh, vital. I mean, shoot, we don't have a home game if we don't. I mean, we already given away, 3 games to these darn classics, which I don't like. Okay, we're gonna give away 3 games. Those could be 3 home games. More revenue for this team, for the school, for all of us. Because I don't even want to go into that. But it's vital. It's vital that we play at home. Dorothy said on the Wizard of Oz, "There's no place like home," didn't she? And we love playing at home. We love when the kids get off that bus and take that walk and the fans are screaming and adoring and the sonic boom is playing and we could feel everybody. We could feel 60. And I'm crazy enough to believe that every time we walk in our home stadium, we're going to feel 60,000 this year. 60,000. I mean, we're not accepting none less. It should be. We feel like we got a really good team, a really good staff, a really good fan base, a really good band. Everything is going on all cylinders right now. We want to take advantage of that. We must play at home.
Okay, follow up to that, 2 weeks out from that first home game. What are the plans? What are the preparations? Has that been decided and figured out just yet?
So I'm preparing for Eddie George. And the way they ran the heck out of the darn football, 331 yards. That's what I'm preparing for. I ain't thinking about no Grambling right now, no home game. We're preparing right now. We're going to fix what was broken yesterday. And believe it or not, several things were broken that we need to fix. Once we fix that and get on the practice field tomorrow, kids going to have the day off physically, but not mentally today. And we're going to get in their heads and their minds and make sure we fix things and get back there on the field tomorrow. And resume everything that our normal schedule. We got to try to get back to normalcy as much as possible.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Got time for 2 more questions. First one goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Cavill inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Prime. How are you doing?
How you doing, sir?
Doing well. Watched the game thoroughly in terms of getting it done, multiple phases of the game. I know the refrain this year is talking about dominance, not just winning games, but dominating. Right. But I know for you, it seems like everything I've heard about is seeking that perfection. So what are some things that you want to also continue to get better at with your team?
Downing the ball inside the 10-yard line. We worked on it. We practiced on that. We had an opportunity. Went to the darn end zone. I mean, we worked on that. That can't happen. Okay, those type of things can't happen. We don't drop opportunities. Our DBs know. I pride myself on that. I pride my career on that. That's opportunity. We don't miss those opportunities. And all week we talked about several things: the jumping off sides, face mask, holding, blocking in the back, just stupid penalties that we can control. And we had, I believe, 5 of those. We can't be great with that. We could be good, but not great. We're trying to be great. We're trying to do things that hadn't been done, which increases the win total, which increases popularity, which increases opportunity for these guys to get to the next level.
Absolutely, absolutely. Talking about Tennessee State, as you said, they rushed for a lot of yards against East or West or Washington, another top 25 team. You're a top 15 team in a lot of ways yourself on various factors out there. What do you see you need to get done against Tennessee State?
Well, we got to do first of all, we got to do what we do. Forget them right now. We got to do what we do. We got to continue to do what we do and perfect what we can perfect. As long as we're protecting two, as long as we're getting after the quarterback, it's going to be hard to deal with us because you can see our specialists have improved. The punt game, the kickoff game, the field goal, the extra points, all that stuff has been perfected. And we got to continue that to make sure we get the proper personnel. It was a couple guys got a little tired. They got a little winded yesterday because they're on several different special teams. We got to remove those guys and find other guys that are not playing as much that can give us the same darn effort and the same consistency. So we could reserve some of those guys so they could be more prominent on the defense or offensive side of the ball. But Coach George, he's running back, so you know he's going to try to perfect that running game. That's what he did, and that's what he's known for, being tough and physical. And his team is certainly starting to take on that characteristic. But I can't wait to get there. I can't wait to play. I can't wait to see my friend. That's my boy, and I love him to life. I can't wait to see him.
Exactly, and I saw the improvement on the offensive line as they continue to get better.
Yeah.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, my man.
Look forward to this matchup.
Amen. It's going to be a good one.
Yes, sir.
Coach Sanders, as always, we appreciate your time and we look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, everybody. Let's commit to excellence. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Let's commit to excellence. Let's give it all we got. The eyes are on us, everybody. Let's do what we do. God bless.
We'll be joined next by Coach Hugh Jackson with Grambling State. That'll be our last coach that we will have on our media session. Going to get Coach Jackson back here in the room. I do see Coach Jackson. Coach Jackson, sir, thank you so much for your patience, and thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing against Arkansas State.
Well, our most recent outing against Arkansas State, we didn't play as well as we thought we could. It was really good for us as a coaching staff and a football team to see exactly where we need to be, where we need to get to. So we're excited about what the future holds and moving on from last week.
Thank you so much for those comments, Coach. We'll now open the floor for questions for Coach Jackson. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Dr. Cavill is inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good afternoon, Coach Jackson.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Wanted to ask, you played multiple quarterbacks in the game. What were your assessments on the quarterback play?
Well, we didn't play as well at quarterback. Obviously, we had to because our starter ended up having some concussion symptoms, and so they took him out the game. And another guy that we had played didn't, as we watched him play, he wasn't making the proper decisions as we wanted. And we went with the young kid and he finished off the game. So we hope to get our starter back, Quintarius Hawkins, and move forward this week.
Moving over to this week's game against Northwestern State. If you would, it's a regional rival. A lot of recruiting can take place there. What's your framework? Had you had a chance to watch some film on Northwestern State? What do you plan to get done this weekend?
Well, absolutely. We just, we're not going to make it about them. We need to really make this about us. We need to get back on track. Obviously, we didn't feel like we put our best effort forward this past week. So again, I think they're a good football team, but we're looking forward to making sure that we come well prepared, ready to play football the way we know Grambling can play football.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Hey, Coach. Prior to Saturday's game, you guys had to make some adjustments on the offensive line. What's the status of the line now, and what adjustments will you make moving forward?
I think right now we're pretty healthy and where we need to be. I don't think there'll be any adjustments made. I think we played a really good front last week, and I think they showed us exactly where we needed to be And so, again, I don't think it's about that more so than it's about our players getting ready to play in a big time game again this weekend.
As a quick follow-up to that, your quarterback situation, which you mentioned at the top, you guys can play very well at the position. What factors will determine whether or not you're comfortable with a certain quarterback moving forward?
Well, I think I've made a decision that Quintarius Hawkins will be our starter. So I feel very comfortable with that. I think, as long as we can keep him healthy and playing well, that's not going to change. I think where we are, like I said, when he got hurt last week, we had to play two of the other young men, and they came in and tried to compete. But I don't think anything last week went very well for our football team. I think we didn't put our best effort forward. And like I said, we're looking forward to playing this week.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and the G-men and everybody in Grambling are well. Can you talk a little bit about just moving away from week one, moving into week two, and any takeaways you can take from that experience, Arkansas State, and go forward into week two?
Well, I think what, week one showed us is where we were, and I think we all thought we were a little bit further ahead of what we were. And so I think that was really eye-opening for all of us. And so I think it showed me as a leader of this organization exactly the T's we got to cross and the I's we got to dot. But I also think it showed our football team how important it is from play one till it's over to play as hard, as good as we can. Not that I questioned that. I just didn't think we put forth our best effort all the way around, and I take full responsibility for that. I think what we got to move away from is what it was. It was not very good. So we need to move to something better. And that's what we're anticipating we will be. I think everybody understands what happened and how we didn't play as well this past week. And the only way you can fix that is get to the next week, make it about the team you're playing this week, and go play good football.
Coach, I was told years ago, it's always about the next great opportunity. As you move forward, and you have a great opportunity this weekend. Just talk about going in and looking to earn a W.
Well, you just said it. I think that's the number one thing, and that's what we're looking to do is earn it. And you got to put your best foot forward. I think our guys, from everything, from the way we meet to the way we practice to the way we travel, the way we prepare, I think those things are better understood now on a high level. Because, we're going to be on the road quite a bit for the first 6 weeks. And that was the first time we've done this all together. So I think there was a lot of things that we were able to take from it, understand from it, learn, and then we're going to go put those things into action this week.
Coach Jackson, in closing, now that you've been inside HBCU, so to speak, what are you seeing and what's it like so far as you move forward? And I know it's just week one, but what's it like so far?
Well, so far it's been great. Obviously, there's tremendous competition in this conference. There's some really good football teams. We played a real FBS team last week. And again, like I said, it showed us exactly where we were and where we need to get to. But at the same time, we understand that we earned that L last week. Nobody else did that but us. And we're looking forward to earning a W this week, but we understand we got to work for it. There's a lot of things that have to go right for us as we prepare this week. We got to go have a great week of practice, have a great travel as we move forward, and then make sure that on Saturday we're ready to play big time football.
Thank you, Coach. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Try to get two more questions in quickly. First question goes to Mia Berry.
Hi, Coach. How are you?
Doing well.
Okay. Trying not to look too far ahead, but your first conference game will be in 2 weeks against Jackson State at Jackson State. How closely have you, the team, and the administrators been following what's been going on with Jackson and the possibility of bringing your players down there?
Oh, no, we've been following it, and I'm sure we'll have a conversation about it this week. But, obviously for me, that's a week away. And again, but I know that there's been conversations had with me not being a part of it. They'll make me privy to that this week. We want to do what's best for our team, first and foremost. And obviously we want the best for Jackson State as well. If we can help and assist in any way with the situation that's going on down there with the water, we will. But again, they're a really good football team. And that's what I'm more concerned about, more so than anything. They're one of the best in the conference. So that will take care of itself a week from now.
Thank you, Coach. That's all I had.
Thank you.
Last question goes to JT Key.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Doing well.
Hey, can you talk about a little bit about your defense and then any positives from the game that you took away? If you thought you guys played hard, and if you have to change the cultural mindset there.
Well, I think, the positive that I took out of it is that we went on a road trip as a football team, and we starting to learn how to do things the way that I see them through my visions. I think the disappointing part is for the team, for the staff, everybody, we didn't play the way we know we're capable of playing. And I would be the first to tell you, I think Arkansas State had a lot to do with that. I think as we move forward, in order to get this culture change, our players understand there's got to be a change of mindset, change of how we go about doing things, how we expect things to be done. And so I think to a man, they would say that. I think to a coaching staff, they would say that. When I watch our defense, again, I didn't see anything anywhere that we could be excited about yet. I think we have good players, but I don't think we performed the way that we're capable of. So we're looking forward to righting that. The only way you can do that is get back out and play again and make what was wrong right. So that's what we're looking forward to doing.
Thank you.
Coach Jackson, we really appreciate your time and we look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Thank you.